swept by the Celtics. After the sweep, KD said he had no regrets and that things happened. But Charles Barkley had an interesting take on what KD's role is.
I try to tell y'all, all these bus riders, they don't mean nothing to me. All these guys walk around with these championship rings. Hey, y'all bus riders. But let me tell you something.
2 in a row, Chuck.
When you the bus driver and you got all that pressure where you have to play well or you're going to get the blame, that's a different animal.
Because Kevin Durant's not on the bus. He's just not on the bus.
Yeah, no, but
he's never on the bus.
What has happened when he was driving the bus?
Well, he's never just...
No, what was happening when he was driving the bus?
He lost in the finals.
Yeah, okay, he did. And then when he was in Oklahoma City again...
But he was driving... You don't think he was the bus driver in Golden State?
No, I do not.
You don't think he was the best player on that team?
No, I do not.
So we all know that Durant loves to respond to things on social media. So he did, saying, where would Chuck be without the big homies? With pics of Barkley throughout the years alongside Hall of Famers like Dr. J, Moses Malone from his early years, as well as Hakeem Olajuwon, Clyde Drexler, and Scottie Pippen late in his career. So first, how do you guys feel about what Barkley said about Durant? Steven, I'll go first to you.
Well, first of all, listen, I don't think that Kevin Durant is a bus rider. Kevin Durant is a superstar in this game. He had a bad series. We understand that. But he's a two-time champion, a two-time NBA Finals MVP. And where I completely contradict Charles Barkley is that Kevin Durant was the best player on the Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry was a superstar, no doubt about it, and Klay Thompson and the Splash Brothers, the greatest shooting backcourt in history. And obviously he went to them. But no one would doubt that Kevin Durant was the best player on the Golden State Warriors. As great as Steph Curry is, Kevin Durant was the best player on the Golden State Warriors. And anybody who knows basketball outside of Charles Barkley knows that. That's number one. Number two, however, is that KD clapping back, I thought his clap back was inaccurate. Because if you're going to post a picture of Charles Barkley in Houston with Hakeem Olajuwon and Scottie Pippen, well, who was the face of that franchise? It was Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon. It was not Barkley. Yeah, Barkley went there with expectations and what have you, but that was after he was in Philly and after he was in Phoenix. The reality of the situation is that was never, Houston was never Charles Barkley's franchise. It was Hakeem Olajuwon's franchise. In the case of the Brooklyn Nets, this is KD's franchise. And even though I disagree with Barkley because I think it's a bit harsh to call him a bus rider, I understand theoretically where he's coming from. What he's saying is that you're supposed to be the leader, but everybody looks at you being deferential to Kyrie Irving. And that is not a person who should be followed. Kyrie should be following you. So I don't agree with Charles Barkley literally because I thought it was a bit too harsh to classify KD in that manner. But from a theoretical perspective, I understand what he was saying. You're supposed to be the leader, but there's too much following that you engaged in because of Kyrie Irving. And that is something that Kevin Durant is going to have to live with, which is why I said months ago, regardless of the fact that I feel otherwise and a lot of people will feel otherwise, there's also a lot of people that are going to remember KD most for being the guy that left Steph Curry to join Kyrie Irving. Then they even remember him for the championships he's won because that's how much of a detrimental effect Kyrie Irving has had on Kevin Durant and his career in Brooklyn.
I agree with him on some, and of course I disagree with him on others. First off, Durant got it wrong. It wasn't going to Houston that Barkley jumped the ship. It was when he wanted out of Philadelphia because he couldn't beat Jordan in the playoffs. And so he said, get me out of here. And he ended up going to Phoenix in that Hornacek trade. And as it turns out, the one great chance he had to win a championship, he lost to Jordan anyway.
Jordan was in the way.
Yeah, so from that standpoint, I blame Barkley for bailing out of Philly more so than I blame him bailing out of Phoenix. And Durant's, Instagram thing had him with the Houston players. He was older then in his career. He had played a long time. I can give him a break.
You remember that, Doggy? You remember that? Way to go, Doggy. Way to go.
Come on. I've been doing this for 40 years. I'm not stupid. Like you. I know what I'm talking about. All right, that's the first thing. Second thing, why is Durant even discussing this? This is what he's worried about? I mean, he had a major issue with Rappaport there, and then we got a big issue with Rappaport. He's fighting left and right. He gets all upset about that. He's a big sports fan, Durant.
Michael Rappaport.
So he's a big sports fan. So he gets all wrapped up in what everybody says. And I love Durant. Steven knows that. I'm a big Durant fan. He's one of my favorites. I love the guy. But, I mean, why is he worrying about what Barkley, was he running home to TNT to see the postgame of what Barkley, Kenny, and Shaq say?
Well, what's he supposed to do? That's where the games are. He's watching the game.
Why is he watching the game after he lost game 4 and got swept? He should be freaking in his room with the lights out.
Basketball now?
He should be in his room with the lights out, basically upset. He should be watching TV. Anyway, I don't understand. Why is he wrapped up in what Barkley says? I have no reason for that. I don't get it. Why are you even worried about it? You just got swept. That's the last thing you should worry about is Charles Barkley. But you're right on one thing. His issue is he's got to basically take over the team. Durant is a follower. Durant doesn't want to lead. I mean, he's the best player. You're right. Best player in the Warriors, too. He should tell Kyrie, hold on now. Get your shots. All right? I came here because of you, and I'm better than you. Get your shots. You want to be on this ball club with me, you get your shot. You're not playing 29 games. You're not sitting there, fasting I can't complain about. It's a religious issue. But get your shots. You're going to play home and away. I don't want to hear any nonsense. No road trips because your kid's got a birthday or you got a birthday present party like last year. I'm the boss. I'm the best player. And that's what Durant doesn't do. And you and I are on the same page with that. Durant's issue is you got to be the leader of the team. You have to be the guy. I'm the best player. I'm getting paid the most. We got swept here. I didn't play well, but I didn't get a lot of help. And this is going to stop. So he should put the stop to Irving. And Irving's going to listen to Durant because Durant's better than Irving. That is my issue with Durant. Why is he ever worried about Charles Barkley? Let Charles Barkley talk. That's what Charles does well. Why are you worried about Barkley, for crying out loud? I don't understand that.
Well, let me say this. You're wrong about several things.
What am I wrong about?
Allow me to retort. Number one, Kyrie ain't listening to anybody. Kyrie ain't listening to anybody. You know what I'm saying? Left Duke early, comes in the NBA, didn't want to vibe with LeBron, gets to Boston, couldn't lead Tatum and Brown. All right, they made it to the conference finals without him, and then when he got there, they got bounced out in the second round. And then after that, he comes to Brooklyn, and you know what? He's doing what he wants to do. And Kyrie ain't listening. That's number one. Number two. You sit up there and talk about why is he watching the games? Well, what the hell is he supposed to do? He just lost. He's supposed to sit in a dark room and never watch another basketball game until next season. He can't enjoy the NBA players. He lost. He lost. I understand that, and he's probably miserable. Maybe watching it will motivate him to be the leader we need him to be and to not tolerate stuff from Kyrie Irving. Maybe, just like LeBron tweeted and said, listen, I'm never missing the playoffs again in my career because this hurts so damn bad to watch these games, and I'm not a part of it. Maybe that's what that's the kind of effect this will have on Durant, because he ain't accustomed to missing the playoffs either. So you saying that he shouldn't be watching the games, shame on you, okay? Doggy watches the game. Why can't he watch the game?
It was 102-77. Dallas was killing Utah. What is there to watch? By the time he got back to New York,
did you watch it?
How'd you know about it? He didn't have to sit there and watch the Dallas-Utah game. They were down by 40 points. What's there to watch?
Did you watch it?
No.
Did you not watch the game?
Second half, no, I got to get up and prepare for you. No, I did not. I got to prepare for you.
I did. And number three, this thing. I mean, what happened to the Mad Dog Russo that I know and love that didn't mind a guy articulating his thoughts, didn't mind a guy being man enough to be honest about what he feels and willingness to clap back and defend himself? Well, listen, we live in the age of social media and beyond. The advent of social media, millions upon millions of people got something to say. If Kevin Durant, who is a brilliant basketball player and a brilliant basketball mind, feels compelled to speak up for himself, I applaud that. I'd rather him do it than sending one of your minions to do it or one of your hanger-ons or somebody to do something like that. No, he does it himself, okay? I respect that. I respect the fact that, guess what? If I say something and Kevin Durant don't like it, Kevin Durant's going to come right back at me. Draymond Green going to come right back at me. D. Wade, when he was playing, will come right back at me rather than sending people to do it for you. They do it themselves. I remember Kobe Bryant used to scare the living hell out of me because guess what? If I said something and he didn't agree with me, Kobe Bryant himself, God rest his soul, I would get a call directly for him. What the hell did you just say? I know you didn't just say that, Steve. Steve. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. You understand? Because you can respect that. This is a superstar who knows the game backwards and forwards, plays on an elite level, and is a champion. And if he has a problem with what Mad Dog Russo, Stephen A., or anybody, or Joe Blow has to say, he's going to speak up directly himself. That is something I respect. I'm not going to malign Kevin Durant for speaking up on his own behalf, and you shouldn't either. You should be ashamed that you're coming at him for that.
102-77. They lost to Boston early in the day. Kevin, here's what you do. You talk to the media. You go back to New York City. You have yourself a Coca-Cola.
He TiVo'd it.
You shut the TV off.
DVR.
You put your music on, and you sit in your bed, and you wonder, how the heck did we just get swept by the Boston Celtics? And I got to do better. And I got to get Kyrie Irving to get on the same page. You don't sit there and watch the Jazz and the Mavericks and having your ears to the TV to make sure Barkley is in line. That's the last thing you do
what you gonna do next?
Kevin Durant. That's the last thing you do.
So Dougie, let me ask you this. What you going to do next? You going to tell him to get the sage that Kyrie Irving sprinkled around TD Bank Garden? You going to tell him to do that too? You going to tell him to make himself some hot chamomile tea and lay in the bed, put on your headphones, turn off the lights, don't watch some TV, listen to Al Green or Teddy Pendergrass or the Isley Brothers or something like that? That's what you going to do next? You going to you going to tell him that too? You going to tell him what pajamas to wear next? I mean, who are you? He can't sit back and watch it. He probably DVR'd it, went home, and just said, yo, I watched this, and this is what I saw. I mean, the TNT postgame show is pretty much on it till 1 o'clock in the damn morning. What's the problem? I can't believe that you saying this kind of stuff. What you
Hold on.
Or you gonna tell his mama to make
Hold
some
on,
cookies and milk
Stills
too?
and Crosby, Stills and Nash, and take a gummy. I don't know, but don't watch Charles Barkley.
I know for a fact we're going to see plenty of KD on social media in the off season for sure. He's already been tweeting a lot. Still to come on First Take, Deebo Samuel.